and everybody, and welcome to a slightly later edition of Smoke and Mirrors. It is still 4:20 Hawaii time, so we still made it. Today's episode is brought to you by Cerial. It's delicious at breakfast, it's delicious in the morning, and it may be just a little bit racist. And now, here's a song. Kids love kicks for what kicks has got. Moms love kicks for what kicks is not. Kicks got none of that fancy stuff. Something, something, what kicks has got. And now, here they are, your invenerable host, Carlos Karim Wyndham. With a glockenspiel, so you know it's real. Hey, welcome to Smoke and Mirrors. And before we do the normal things we do today, want to acknowledge that in fact there has been yet another mass shooting in the United States today, another school shooting in the United States today, the 22nd school shooting of 2022. Don't know quite the number of mass shootings. I haven't had time to calculate that. This happened in Texas. There are 2 dead children, 13 injured, and I'm certain that politicians are in very short order going to be sending us their thoughts and prayers. I'm sure they are the same politicians who have been sending thoughts and prayers, mass shooting after mass shooting, school shooting after school shooting, who swear that they are 2 adults and 18 children. Okay, the number has upped. Thank you for the clarification, Brian. It is not good. It's not good, and it happened in Texas this time. But let's not fool ourselves. It is not a Texas exclusive circumstance. We live in a country that is far more prone to regulate whether or not trans kids can find the medications to help them through their transitions, hormone blockers and such, and or women have right to, people with wombs have the right to autonomy over their bodies. That can get legislated very, 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 very quickly and very harshly, and yet we are still having a very hard time finding ways to come up with any kind of regulations for guns in this country. From Smoke and Mirrors, from all of our family here, our thoughts and prayers are up for real. Praying that we find the courage as a country to lean heavily on our politicians and what's left of SCOTUS to do what we can to mitigate the harms. I'm not even going to suggest that this is never going to happen again. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened again tomorrow. But to try to mitigate the harms by getting counselors into the schools, getting cops out of the schools, and guns out of the hands of our citizens. That is our hope. here at Smoke and Mirrors. Gotta say the things. Let's get into the show. Let's get into what we do. Hey, you know where you are. You know why you came. And if this is a thing that is important to you, well, we'd appreciate it if you would share it. Like the broadcast, share it on the page in which you are watching it. Let it be YouTube. If you're not with us over on YouTube, we hope that you are with us on Facebook. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a like, give us a subscribe. If you really want to contribute to what we do here, feel free to throw a little something our way, maybe a 2-bit, a 4-bit, over at Venmo at Carlos-Wyndham, Cash App, $CK Wyndham, PayPal /me.CK Wyndham. And if you really want to get down with us and be a subscriber, you can do that over at the Patreon at Smoke and Mirrors CCB. That is for comedy, culture, and blackness. Patreon. The patrons were on the screen. You know what it is. Here I am. Here you are. Already had a whole conversation, a whole thing that I wanted to talk about with you prior to the news of the day. And so we are going to get into it. Before we get too deep into it, let's just, I found that as I was doing my research for the subject, that it spread everywhere. And the question was, why is racism so delicious? Why does it taste so good? Why is it so yummy? Let's begin with our friends at Walmart and Juneteenth Ice-Cream that they were marketing and selling at Walmart. They have since recalled the product. They are taking it off the shelves. They are no longer going to be selling Juneteenth iced cream. They did trademark Juneteenth iced cream, so I'm not sure what that means. There's also a Juneteenth iced cream being sold by a black woman, and it is the model of Walmart to take ideas from black people, steal them, repackage them, and sell them back to you again. And they've done it again. Juneteenth, you will remember, is the holiday on June 17th when Texas actually recognized, back to Texas. Hey, Joshua, what about that? It could have had a Texas song today, where Texas actually recognized emancipation. There certainly were enslaved Africans, hostages, if you will, who had recognized their own freedom, but there was nothing on the books that would have made that official, that would have been recognized by the state until that point. And so now we get delicious ice cream. Hey, this goes on ice cream and it can be delicious too. I love it. It's my favorite. That's my favorite cereal. I love it. I don't know if you're a Grape Nuts fan. If you are a Grape Nuts fan, we're going to go Grape Nuts crazy today. I don't like that I just said crazy. I regret that. We're trying to do language of neuroacceptance and neurodiversity here at Smoke and Mirrors and here in my own life as Carlos, as a neurodiverse person. So I did not mean we're going to go Grape Nuts eccentric, huh? What are you for very excited? We're gonna have Grape Nuts lunacy, but that seems problematic too. Grape Nuts nutty, that's no good. Anyway, we're gonna talk about Grape Nuts today. Where it came from, what is it? Why is it called Grape Nuts? Why do people eat it? Why do I like it? Why do you like it? Do you like it? What's wrong with you? Will you like it after this? I don't know. Do you still want to drive a Tesla now that you know that Elon Musk is just a rich Afrikaner with pockets full of emerald money and a propensity for abusing women and trying to buy them off with horses? I don't know. You make your own choices. We're just telling you where it came from. Listen, you know why you came here. You came here. Don't with me. I don't ruin everything. You came here because you like it here for whatever reason. You kind of did this to yourself. So don't blame me. All right. Let's get into it. Who invented it? Somebody had to invent it. Well, that would be John Foss Edgerly, who also went by the nickname Weber. I have a relation who has one of these giant Wyatt mustaches. These things always, we've talked about this before, and I say this as somebody who is blessed with a giant mustache. I don't know that I trust the giant mustachioed. It's very much like my friend Amanda Lynn Deal says, comedian, brilliant comedian with whom I am collaborating, Amanda Lynn Deal, says to us that people with three names are either very funny or they are mass murderers. It just goes one way or the other. She's not wrong. Anyway, a big mustached man decided he was going to go ahead and make this cereal. Now, the reason he did it is he was doing a whole life thing. He graduated from law school. I think it was in 1860. I'm going to look at my notes here. 1867, 76. 1876, graduated from Boston Law. Smart dude, okay? Smart dude. And immediately, upon graduating, made the RALSTON gym. You may have heard that name, RALSTON. Made the RALSTON gym, RALSTON Purina. You know where we're going with this. And the RALSTON gym was somewhat successful. He ended up leaving Boston in a big scandal, got chased out of town, accused his slightly younger wife of cheating on him, and went ahead and set up a big sting operation wherein he kind of like jumped out of the closet at her and her assumed lover. The town didn't think very highly of this, chased him out of town. Anyway, point being this. He created a whole health regimen, the RALSTON health regimen, and started writing books. One of the books that talked about things like magnetism. In fact, personal magnetism and the idea of having personal magnetism was invented by this very person. He would test to see if you had personal magnetism. He would ask you to go ahead and hold a marble and circle it around your head 3 times, then circle it the other way. Do all of this with your eyes closed. Put it down in front of you and have the marble not move. A very near impossible task. If you couldn't do that, that meant you needed training from this man. He also, as you can see from the title of this book, invented the idea of sex magnetism. All of this could have been born about from the theory of animal magnetism. There was a lot of like pseudoscience happening right around the time of the Reconstruction. For instance, Darwinism was being taken and used for this idea of social Darwinism, which it has nothing to do with. That's actually an idea tied more closely to eugenics. Another idea that was held very, very close to the heart of Mr. Weber Edgerly, most commonly known, though he did write these books under a pseudonym, and I had that written someplace, I'm sure, because I had notes from before, and I'll never be able to find them now. Anyway, he invented this thing called RALSTON. RALSTON was an acronym for regime, activity, light, strength, temptation, oxygen, and nature. I'm sorry, temperation, not temptation, temperation. Got to keep your tempers in check. It's a little like keeping your humors in check. Temperation. It does have to do with temptation. We'll get into it. He really was a huge believer in the purity of whiteness as well. He wanted this RALSTON regime to be only for white people. He believed deeply in eugenics and thought that it was absolutely essential to castrate brown and black people. The castration had to happen because you didn't want any of these browns or blacks impregnating any of your beautiful white wombs. Now, that said, it was perfectly okay, according again to the themes of Ralston, to go ahead and have a white man impregnate any flavor of brown womb, because what was going to happen is the intellect of the white man was going to enter the child, as opposed to if a black person, brown person were to impregnate a white person, wherein then all of the wanton savagery would enter through their giant genitalia. Again, his idea, not mine. Let's keep going forward. He had this idea about food. Remember when he was talking about this regimen that had to do with the activity, the light, the strength, right? Now, the strength could be offered through food. It was he believed that you could do this through grains, okay, through wheat, through grains, through herbs, this kind of thing. But he also believed that in order to practice temperation, what you had to do was to make it taste like nothing or dirt. Those were basically the two choices of the flavor components that it should hold. Now, the reason that it tasted this way was because you didn't want to excite and inflame the feelings of arousal, of eros, of libido in any of the whites, have them acting like any of the savages, the blacks. Did I mention that all of this was happening during the period of Reconstruction? It was. This white lash was happening based on the fact that black people actually did some things for the country to further democracy after emancipation. And that was not something that this person liked or believed in very much. Well, anyway, he decided that he was going to make a cereal about it, and he did. And that was called Shredded Ralston. Nummy num 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 nummy num 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 num. He wanted to make sure that this was about racial purity. It was going to be beautiful food for Caucasian people in their Caucasian nature, because it was true that it was in the Bible, history, and science to speak plainly and conclusively on these issues and have a food that would promote the same. Nummers. This food was doing very well, ended up being his main business, in fact. And the gym was also doing very well, but there was someone else that had an even better gym. His name was Kellogg. I've talked about Kellogg before. Kellogg was also a vehement racist and a eugenicist. Ralston wanted to have the better sanitarium than did Kellogg. So he just kept pushing this idea. Finally found himself a place right. Again, a lot of the ideas about not exciting the libido through flavor were really being brought into this idea over from the classics, wherein it was thought that it was a demonstration of a high intellect to have a small package, because that would show that all of the blood that otherwise would have gone to that very small penis is going to that big brain of Western thought, philosophy, and culture. Part of Ralston's regime and what he wanted to see in his gyms that were for boys only and for men, and white men in particular. Ralston met somebody. This is William Danford. William Danford is the founder of Purina. Purina, who of course you would know as the maker of animal feed. Animal feed, which you would know, is made of grain. Grain, which we have just discussed, is the basis of cereal. And so what our boy thought is, hey, I can take this Ralston idea and nationalize it if I had access to your machinery and distribution. And so they did, because the Kellogg's, not the Kellogg's, the Purina people were like, hey, we could sell cereal to people too, not just for feed for animals. Feed it to your children. That'd be great. And so that's how that came into popular consciousness. Now, this this idea, Angel, that it is also why there is not seasoning in their food does not surprise me. And as the victors of the spice wars, it would seem that the idea of capturing the spice and holding control of the spice would simply be to control it, control freedom, control bodily autonomy, control flavor, control enjoyment, and anything that has to do with the Eros nature, with Oshun's nature, with love, with communication, with vibrancy, color. Too much of it. Too much of it. Can't have any vibrancies on our tongue. So they got together to make sure that they would have a way to distribute this deliciousness to everybody. And there it is. Purina Miller's Ralston. 10 million packages they got put out all across the country. And hey, it's where purity is paramount. Oh boy. Hey, he was also way into theatrics and theater. Did I mention this? Going back to our boy Weber, the founder of Ralston, he loved giving advice on elocution. He loved teaching theater. He loved giving folks a way to present themselves, like a life coach, if you will. He was sort of the Tony Robbins of his time, telling people that if you stood up straight instead of in a natural position for the body, that was good. If you articulated and had high elocution, as did he, that was the pinnacle of forward momentum. We needed taller leaders. We needed whiter leaders. We needed a white brigadoon, a white New Orleans, if you will, for white people to go crazy in and do all the whiteness. And that was the birth of the Ralston Sanitarium. He made a sanitarium. This is when he finally ended up in Trenton, New Jersey. He, in the sanitarium, built many extra rooms on top of the rooms that were already there on a mansion that already existed, building himself the biggest mansion that still now overlooks a lot of New Jersey. It is a wild sight. He built one secret room, one special secret room to go by himself and write books and come up with all of these brilliant ideas that he would then share with the world. There had been a few observers, academic observers, who had been allowed to be part of what was going on. One who had lived there for 8 years, I believe. Her name was Six. As part of her thesis, she observed what he was doing, and she said that she supposed that a lot of what was happening in that little room, along with boy-to-boy friendly time, slap and tickle time, for Weber, was a lot of cocaine, because it would take a lot of cocaine to have the proper energy to, as he said he did, sleep only 1 hour a night, which would allow for the mania to be induced, such that this man was able to write 85 books. He wrote and published 85 books on top of the Ralston Sanitarium, on top of the invention of the cereal and the distribution of the breakfast cereal, along with the other company there. And man, oh man, did he have a very full to the gills life. Ran for office, and he was trying to build this white utopia in the shadow of this mansion. He was going to build homes for up to 217 white families all over his giant property. Of those homes, none got built. Some of the families who were supposed to build them kept giving him money, which he kept investing into his own property. He was about to get run out of town. And they said, here's a problem. There's not even a water system for us here to be able to build homes if you wanted to. He said, you know what? I got you. I will build the water system. I got it. I'll do it. He did. It cracked. Citizens complained of the water tasting of asphalt. And that was the end of his white utopia. Joshua, are we talking about something that happened a long, long time ago, or is this something that is happening in New Jersey today? What is it? Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. He told me to remind you there is no such thing as history. That essentially anything that ever has happened, could happen, you've ever heard about, thought about happening on the earth is happening right now. And we may just find some parallels with versions of us who died before, but it's not like it's something that's buried in the long, long past. It's happening. That pretty much it? Yeah. Oh, also history is a tool of white supremacy, and it is not written by the victor. It is written by the liar. All right. Well, this led to what? The invention of a bunch of things. So the company was eventually purchased. It broke off, right? RALSTON Purina was purchased by another company. Nestle is into it now. Nestle, who wants to buy a lot of all of the water on the planet. Also, General Mills got in the action. A bunch of different companies got in the action. You'll recognize some of the cereals that are a direct consequence of RALSTON's efforts. All of the Chex, which also means the Chex Mix, which is now just a snack that they sell in a bag. You don't even got to make your own Chex Mix anymore. When we were kids, how to make your own Chex Mix. That's because of RALSTON. So shout out to RALSTON. Cookie Crisp. I love Cookie Crisp. You love Cookie Crisp. It's part of who we are. Listen, if we were really going to go back in time and determine how much of my body is due to the consumption of Cookie Crisp, I would say that even to this day, I'm probably about 33% Cookie Crisp cereal. Chocolate chip, thank you very much. Chocolate chip, thank you very much. It was a marketing issue that happened. They had to get sugar in the cereal, right? Because they had to sell it to kids. Because the kids didn't want to eat Grape Nuts. Kids were like, "Oh, this is that." Make it better? How do we make it better? How do we sell it to kids? Sugar, and that just kept evolving until the point that they were actually selling cookies in a bowl, and selling. The way they were able to get away with it is by selling it. You'll remember if you're a Saturday morning cartoon kid, as part of a complete and balanced breakfast. Now, the thing is, without that toast, without that orange juice, without that, do they have bacon in this one? Nope. No bacon in this one. Milk for sure. Without all of these other things, this is not a complete nor healthy breakfast. I would argue that we have learned now that if you're drinking a glass of juice and having sugar cereal for breakfast, you're basically just having like 3 glasses of sugar water for breakfast. There's nothing healthy happening there, and I'm assuming that's cow's milk. Gross. It's super bad. Although if you've converted over to almond milk or oat milk, as have I, then it's not good for the environment. It takes a lot to make that happen too. Oh boy, it's almost like there is no way to live neutrally in a capitalist society, and that a lot of the big issues that are happening at the hands of corporations, and they try and push it off on us as though we have some choice in the matter, so that they don't have to take any responsibility and can absolve themselves and just keep us buying their products or something. Oh, hey, while we're on this real quick, listen, This is what Cookie Crisp looks like. I don't want to hear from any millennials or any Zoomers or whatever the fuck that like it's supposed to be this wolf. Fuck this wolf. This is disgusting. I am not here for some horned out fucking drizzly. We know what wolves mean in cartoon culture. Wolf is horny. Oh, what? Oh, God. That's the what. I don't need some horned out wolf telling me what the fuck to eat for breakfast with the milk just splooshing all over there like it's the fucking money shot at the end of a goddamn film. No, 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 my friend. We're not doing breakfast porn. I'm not going to fall for it. We're already having to eat white supremacy every morning. I'm going to only be okay if we go to the wizard. Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah, no, that grand old wizard who was feeding diabetes to Black kids and families. Oh no. All right. Well, huh. I guess the real lesson here is you can't have anything nice in this country without it being attached to something having deeply to do with white supremacist patriarchal capitalism, or without it benefiting the heirs and the families thereof. It's almost like we all live in a company town. Just imagine if there were only 3 companies that made cereal, like for babies, like formula. And just imagine if there was some, I don't know, political movement not to deliver goods to people, or there was some recall because one of the 3 companies poisoned a bunch of the formula on accident so that the corporations and the rich could make their money off of that formula. And then imagine they started saying that the formula shortage was because it was being sent to children at the border, and that the right move to fix this would be to starve the brown children and snatch back all the formula and give it to the white babies for the white baby surplus that Judge Alito wants, which is why people with wombs can't have autonomy over their own bodies, especially the white ones. If you give white women access to abortions, there won't be enough white babies, and then we will be replaced. Anyway, hey, have a bowl of cereal. Why don't you? I don't know. I don't know. If you're, I guess. All right. Let's say this. Forget that. That's not the moral. Here's the moral. The moral of the story is this. If it feels like your breakfast is doing racisms to the roof of your mouth, it's probably because it is. Hey, would you like to see me live? You want to spend some time together? I want to see you. Brian, you live close enough. Come on. If you're watching this and you live anywhere around the Portland metro area, you have absolutely no excuse not to show up at the Aftermath. Huh? It's going to be on the first Thursday. Are you kidding me? Of next month. The doors are going to be opening at 8 p.m. Show's going to start at 8:30 p.m. Where is this going to be happening? I'll tell you where. At 1036 Southeast. That is not correct. That's supposed to say Northeast. Oh, no. All right. 1036 Northeast Alberta Street. It's gonna be incredible. It's gonna be incredible. It's Alberta Street Pub. I'm co-hosting with the co-most, Mix Dahlia Bell. Chris Eddick is going to be there. It's gonna be our guy TJ's birthday. You want to come out for the Felicidades? It's gonna be a great celebration. Imani Dene is going to be headlining, and Jet Black Pearl will be your musical guest. Northeast, not Southeast, Alberta Street, 1036. Please join us there. And this has been another Smoke and Mirrors. Thank you so much for joining us here today, spending a little bit of time. We know that we all have limited number of minutes on this planet. You chose to spend some here with me, and I do appreciate that. Thank you. Hey, if you would like to look at pictures of what we do and maybe catch an old episode, want to see if you're interested in the subject, an easy way to do that is right over there at the IG. IG at Smoke and Mirrors, CCB. Would you like to hear any of the thoughts in your own head, in your own voice, without having to hear me say them? You just want to read them and kind of like turn the symbols into images in your own brain hole? You can do that over at the Twitter at Caballo Negrito. Caballo Negrito for the monolingual amongst us. Caballo Negrito literally translates to get gun regulation in the goddamn United States already. Caballo Negrito literally translates to get gun regulation in the goddamn United States already. Do you have a question, a comment, suggestion about the show? Go ahead and reach out at Smoke and Mirrors CCB, Comedy, Culture, and Blackness. Smoke and Mirrors CCB at gmail.com. This is a thing that is produced and hosted by myself, Carlos Karim Wyndham. Our production and research associate is Joshua. We did show up an hour late today. We did come in on Hawaiian time. Thank you for joining us. Tell a friend. Please take care of yourself. Please take care of each other. Go get a vaccine. Go get a booster. Cover your face. Wear a mask. The pandemic ain't over. You may be done with it, but it is not done with you. Take care of yourself. We love you, and we hope to see you here next time. Okay, we love you. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye. I said I love you already.